Joe, how can organizations ensure that their data protection strategies, right? Let's focus on data protection here, are robust enough to support quick recovery from failures, and not only failures, but from ransomware attacks, from data loss incidents. What are some of the best practices?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's all sorts of recommendations out there for best practices or things to consider. When I talk to customers, one of the things that I always harken back to, and a way of really assessing your preparedness, is what we talk about at Index Engines is our four pillars of resiliency, or four pillars of a smart recovery. And it really boils down to a couple of things, four things, obviously. First and foremost is data protection. Do you have copies of your data? Ideally, are those copies immutable, right? Whether we're talking backups or snapshots, whatever it might be, the first thing when bad actors get into your environment, they're going to look to do is get into your backups, right? Start to affect those so that, well, as we talked about earlier, if you try to restore from them, that they're able to still reinfect your environment. So having data protection, having copies of your data, ensuring that those copies are immutable is critical. You need to have somewhere to recover to, right? A clean room, an air-gapped environment, somewhere that you know when these events happen, that you have an alternative environment you can fail over to. And really, where Index Engines and our technology, CyberSense, is particularly key, is having validated data integrity. It's not enough to have copies of your data. It's not enough to know what to do with that data and have somewhere to restore it to if you're not sure that it's clean. We talked earlier about the risk of reinfection. We've seen customer stories where customers have been hit with a ransomware attack. They said, that's all right, we have backups, we'll go and restore from our backups, without realizing that they were restoring dormant executables that ended up being reinfecting their environment. And then when they saw those ransoms, those demands increase time and time again. So ensuring that you're restoring something that has validated data integrity and it's clear of any of those dormant executables so you can recover once is critical. And then obviously preparedness, right? Continuously testing, making sure that it's not enough, again, just to know that you have backups of your data, that you have somewhere you can recover to, and that data is clean. If when an event happens, you don't know how to respond. So having red books, having those red books not be stored on your primary storage arrays, but physically printed red books the old-fashioned way. Having a
Right.
plan, everyone knowing the responsibility of who's who and who's going to do what is really, really critical.